everyone off guard. This mandate has increased our responsibility. It's a great responsibility on our shoulders. We take it with all humility. There are a lot of aspirations that people of Andhra Pradesh have, and as a government, we really need to be focused on delivering on those aspirations.
So I think we're going to meet midways in terms of delivering on that. And in terms of my lessons from my leader, is to be very patient and perseverant. If you see in his entire political journey, it's had great highs and great lows. He takes his highs as he takes his lows. And for me, that's been a great lesson. And that's what I've learned from him, and that's the way I've taken my political journey also.
Wow, that was good. Today I had an incredible opportunity to spend time with you, Lokesh Garu. So some of the things what I've observed is like you're a straight shooter in terms about, how you compose yourself, when you're talking about investments. Just want to understand, especially when you're trying to bridge some of the gaps, especially in terms about creating an enterprise, because a lot of our audience are mostly in small business enterprises. So when you graduated from Stanford and went back to India, you had a role at Heritage as a director. So when you actually ran both an enterprise company and then you came back into politics, how was that experience? Because a lot of our audience here would want to understand how to create an enterprise.
I think that's a very good question. They're quite stark, they're quite different. In the private sector, you are the boss, you decide the direction, you understand the journey, the results speak for themselves. If 1 month you miss something, you know where to correct. I think politics,
You only get elections once every 5 years at the state level. So it gets very difficult to figure out whether you're in the right trajectory. And it's very important to remain grounded, meet people, hear from them, understand whether what you're doing is right and whether what decisions you're taking are meeting with their aspirations or not. So for me, that was very, very important. I think both journeys are mutually exclusive, but one thing I have learned being in the private sector and now in politics is building your team. You need to decide early on who can take you to a logical conclusion. Who will be part of your journey. I think that's very important because when I joined Heritage, we had a crisis. Things were not good. We were losing a lot of money because of our retail expansion. Dairy was not bringing in that much of profit. So I had to decide early on the direction, trajectory of the business. Then I had to figure out whether the leaders believed in that vision or not. And based on that, I had to take decisions.
I think politics is all about that also. I think you need people who believe in your vision, but also have that boldness to correct you when you're making mistakes. So in that sense,
In terms of building your team, building the leadership in both organizations is something that I find very similar.
Yes. So I think building upon that, also, you come from a legendary family, want to, building upon the legacy of your family, what is the vision that you create, especially like, for example, want to understand the expectations, like say, for example, when I was, going to engineering school, I had expectations from my parents that, are you going to be an engineer or a doctor? Coming from a family, with a lot of legacy, how did you manage your expectations? How did you, come yourself, like, finding those differences?
Even if you look at, even in business, when you come from a certain business family, the institution might have certain expectations on you. Similarly, in politics, there are greater expectations. People expect you to behave in a certain manner, respond in a certain manner. But if you look at my journey in politics, I've always broken the mold. I have chosen the road less traveled. Membership in Telugu Party was never a smooth affair. And in 2014, I chose that as my focus area. Similarly, in 2019, when I had to contest election, there was always a debate on which seat I should contest from. Generally, political legacies, people, second generation, third generation politicians choose a safe seat. I chose Mangalgiri. And Mangalgiri is a seat that we did not win since 1985.
So I said, I should try it out, I should challenge myself. And, political legacies are not about safe seats. I think we should choose a road less traveled. I lost in 2019 by 5,300 votes. I never felt bad. I said, I didn't have enough of time to convince the people of Mangalgiri on what Lokesh is. So I spent 5 years, I worked on it. I said, I'm going to contest from here. And in this process, a lot of people told me, why not contest from a safe seat also, just in case you lose? And I told them, if I do take an easy route or exit, that's accepting defeat, and I'm not going to. So I contested in Mangalgiri in 2024, and I'm really proud to say that I won it with the highest majority that Andhra Pradesh has ever seen, which is 91,000 votes.
Wow.
Again, after that, when the ministries were being selected, and
When I spoke to Babu Garu about, what I should do, and he asked me, what do you want? What do you think you want? I said, let me take HRD. Human resource development is one of the most toughest ministries, a lot of teacher unions, and I love the challenge. And it's a great opportunity for me to shape next generation leaders, thinkers, engineers, scientists, doctors. So I always believe as leaders we should take a road less traveled and transform in your own way. And that is what I have learned in my political journey.
Wow, that was a great insight, Lokesh Garu. And then given a lot of interviews that I watched, and then a couple of times that I've interacted with you, and then given that you also won Scotch Person of the Year for Digital Award, and given that the importance of technology in governance, how do you think especially technology can play an important role in terms about rural communities that you advocate for?
it's a fact that technology has changed all our lives. India has been lucky. We jumped the PC era, went straight to smartphones. There's more smartphones in India than there are toilets. That's a known fact. I think that presents a very unique opportunity in terms of governance. One thing I regret that we didn't do enough in our last term is
To actually transform processes. What we did was digitize broken processes. But this time around we want to correct it. We are actually looking at business process re-engineering in the government. And I'm looking at how can we deliver seamless governance in the hands of people, in the hands of citizens. How do you make politicians and IAS officers irrelevant in day-to-day governance and in day-to-day citizens' lives? So that's where I believe technology will play an important role, but it's also important to transform our processes and re-engineer our processes. And this is what you will see happening in Andhra Pradesh
in the next 9 months.
Okay, that was a great insight as well, Lokesh Garu. And then today, one of the insight that I had was you discussed a lot about investing in Vizag, particularly the area that's more interesting, especially in terms about technology investment, for both IT serve community as well as a larger audience. Do you want to highlight some of the few things that's so critical about that area that's very prone in terms about technology investments? Especially in terms about Vizag.
See, being a new state, Andhra Pradesh is presented with a unique opportunity, and that opportunity is to decentralize development and not center development around one city or one ecosystem.
Way back in 2014, Mr. Naidu had a clear vision of which district should do what. And that's why Kia came to Anantapur, TCL, Foxconn came to Chittoor and Nellore, and we had Amravati as our capital. And from day one, I strongly believe that Visakhapatnam should be our IT capital, because I believe it has the right ingredients. Now let's talk about what are those right ingredients. It has amazing connectivity. It has great engineering colleges, amazing talent. And I jokingly keep saying that if Bangalore were to marry Goa and have a child, that will be Visakhapatnam. It's such a beautiful city, gorgeous ecosystem. And I truly believe that
for IT not only to survive but to thrive, Visakhapatnam has all the right ingredients. As a state, we personally believe that the data revolution is here, and Andhra Pradesh is well poised in terms of harnessing that revolution. As all of you are aware, globally close to $300 billion are getting invested in data centers. And our agenda is to actually bring about 100 billion of that to India and bring majority of that to the state of Andhra Pradesh in Visakhapatnam. Back that with AI education and particularly focus on an AI university, where we're really excited on figuring out the interactions of AI in governance, AI in politics, AI in healthcare, AI in entertainment. And like how the erstwhile Indian School of Business model was, where it was completely private sector led. We would love to do the same magic in the AI university and really create next generation thought leaders and engineers, not only for Andhra Pradesh, but for the world.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. And a little bit off topic and also a candid question, Lokesh Garu. So I heard, you heard from Indra when she was talking about her tata. I think a lot of audience in the room is waiting to hear this answer also. Do you want to get some reminiscent thoughts or memories about spending your time with your tata?
Johar NTR. Annagaru is larger than life. And from my childhood, that's all I remember about him. And all of us were very scared as grandchildren. Because, he was a tall personality there. But he had a very emotional connect with all his grandchildren. And he personally named all of us. So, I got Lokesh because of him. And all my cousins have their names because of him. So he had a lot of personal attachment with all of us. But honestly, we were just too many of us for him to spend time and nurture our aspirations and ambitions. But he was very humble, and every birthday, we used to go meet with him, spend time with him. And the way he would share love and affection is to feed you to the extent where you'll end up throwing up. I remember this so well, and that is the way he would show love and affection for all of us. He's left behind a great legacy for us to lead from the front and to take it forward.
Wow, I think everybody, goes back to their memories with spending their time with their family. Coming to the topic about technology again, the state of AP basically is called Annapurna, which is rice bowl of India. So for that, basically is the bedrock is farming and farmers. So given, and I also see a lot of times you spoke about, ecosystems, like, developing ecosystems. So just want to understand how are you going to strengthen that ecosystem? So which is like basically kind of creating how to impact their lives.
No, all of you know I did a Padayatra. In my Padayatra, I had a great chance to interact with farmers across segments. So I met palm oil farmers, paddy farmers, mango farmers, date farmers, banana farmers, mirchi farmers. What was fascinating for me is that they're working hard, they're investing money ahead of time, and they're not sure at the end are they going to make money or not. And they're doing this every crop cycle. So the way I looked at it, I said, there are two parts of this equation. One, we need to reduce the cost of production. Two, how do we grow commodities and variants of our commodities which we can take to the globe? Now, I'll give you an example. All of us know that Rayalaseema is known for mango. But predominantly we grow varietals that we want. Why can't we grow varietals that the world wants? Varietals that Europe wants, Japan wants, which are also higher value in nature. And that's where I believe that state can play a very important role in guiding farmers. Similarly, our dates is another big area. Banana, dragon fruit, chiku is another area. So I think there's a lot of work that we can do as a government in terms of guiding farmers, giving not just subsidies alone, but inputs and even strengthening it with research stations and ensuring that the optimal output and productivity comes from the respective farms. So for me, that's of great interest and passion. The same thing applies even to, palm oil farmers. If you look at it, thanks to Annagaru, Andhra and Telangana, the two Telugu speaking states have a very important role to play in palm oil, and we help government in terms of saving our forex. We have to support them, but we have to be in the smart way. We we have import duties and exports subsidies based on the inflation. So how can we have a table making it easy so that government can take appropriate decisions? For me is very fascinating. So these are, I think, interventions you'll see at a policy level that will come up. And I truly believe that Rayalaseema particularly has a great opportunity to leapfrog in agriculture. It's amazingly fertile soil, and just giving water through drip and giving extension to the appropriate horticulture crop, I think, can truly transform agriculture in that sense. And the last bit I'd like to add is technology plays an important role, more so from government's ability to map which commodity is being grown where and in what quantities, and how should government be prepared in terms of sale price hikes or slumps. Because there are days when tomatoes are highly priced, there are days when tomatoes go for 10 paisa, 50 paisa kg. So I think our government's ability to forecast that, prepare for that, and guide, advise farmers for that, I think will be very important, and that's something that we'll work on this time.
Yeah, on the context of that, I've seen in your previous turn, you also attended Davos, and given that context, wanted to understand what is your, strategy for attracting a lot of FDI, because I've seen you have delivered successfully on the government promise for Kia, and also you're quoting Foxconn and Brookfield. What do you see your strategy for, bringing a lot of FDI investments to the state of AP?
Fundamentally two things. Number one, India requires a lot of policy intervention at the national level to attract greater investments to our nation. See, today, honestly, it's not just about competing amongst ourselves as states, but we are also competing with other countries. I'm competing with Vietnam for attracting electronics investments. I'm competing with Ecuador on aqua exports. I'm competing with other countries on agri-commodities. So it's very, very important that we largen the pie, create a very conducive environment for medium, large corporates, global corporates to look at India as their hub. Second, it's no longer about ease of doing business, it's about speed of doing business. So all the business process re-engineering that we're doing as state is to focus on speed of doing business. So when I met Chandra sir, who's the chairperson of Tata Sons, and I was asking him what his advice to me would be, he said,
just focus on speed of doing business. And he said, today corporates are spending $2, $3, $5 billion on each project. I mean, imagine a 6 months delay. It'll throw their entire business plan out of shape. 6 months delay would result in losses that they have to carry forward on their balance sheet. So our singular focus is on speed of doing business. We will compete with other states, and we will create a very conducive environment in Andhra Pradesh in terms of attracting investments and grounding those investments. And one example of that is how we closed TCS in a 90-minute meeting. That's the way we will work and get investments into state of Andhra Pradesh.
Wow, that's a kind of an insight where I wanted to get into the context of bridging the gap for organization like IT Surveillance, where there's a lot of small business enterprises, all the way from 100 to almost thousands of employees. Because whenever you create enterprise, the speed, the context is the speed. So in that context, wanted to personally understand, when you dealt with a lot of enterprises, what was one of the challenge or some of the insight that you felt personally the most important thing in creating a faster speed for enterprises?
You mean as a government or?
As a government.
So the challenge is, how do you translate the vision of the Chief Minister down to the grassroots
line functionary? So the Chief Minister has a clear vision to attract investments. Every meeting he talks about how many jobs did we create. But the problem that I see even at the grassroots level, at the field level, is there is still the need for greater momentum. The tendency is to tell how not to do things. And that's the challenge that we struggle with. So we are in the process of bringing about that change, institutional change, among the officers, among the political system in Andhra Pradesh, to drive and be very focused on getting investments and creating local jobs.
Yeah, I think building upon that, given all the work that you have done with the government, just wanted to understand what is your ultimate goal in politics? Do you want to see yourself at a national level, or anything, any role beyond Andhra Pradesh in the coming future?
I mean, politics is one great field where you can positively or negatively influence people's lives. Being a third generation politician, I see this as a great opportunity to really transform things. There's amazing aspirations at the grassroots level, and it's important that we meet those aspirations and deliver. And after that, it is for people to decide where I should be.
People of Mangalgiri in 2019 felt that, I had to serve them for 5 more years before giving me a chance. And when they gave me a chance, it is with a majority that Andhra Pradesh has never seen. So I think that's the beauty of the political system. So, we are here to serve the people, we are here to create amazing policies, attract investments, create jobs, create ecosystems.
And then it is for people to decide whether I should be a gully politician or a Delhi politician.
Oh, so given that, Lokesh Garu, one of the other thing, a lot of, people in the audience would love to know is, you were back home at the ripe age or early age of 32, 33 to run an enterprise and to get into government. So what would be your advice for a lot of, young and dynamic leaders out there? For example, we have some of the few, IT serve members who went and contested back home, like Ramu Garu from Gudivada or Yalagadda Garu, and then also Suresh Garu. So what kind of advice, do you want to really give to, young people out there who really want to go out and then do public service?
No, my advice to everyone has been is, first you need to settle down financially. That's very, very important. Today I am able to do what I want to do for the single reason is because Brahmi takes care of me and pays for my credit card bills. Not everyone is lucky in that sense. I am very lucky. So I keep telling, when I met Ramu, Suresh Garu very early on, that was my advice. First be financially stable, come into politics to serve people. That should be a true calling. Nothing but that. When that is clear, come to politics. And the only way that can be clear is when you have financial security, when you don't need to depend on politics for any income. So I always advise all the youngsters, first settle down, be financially independent, stable, and definitely as Telugu Desam Party, I call ourselves as a university. We have this ability to create leaders who went on to lead even Telangana, and that is the beauty of Telugu Desam Party. We create leaders, we give people opportunity to lead from the front, and if you look at it this time, in the 160 odd seats that we contested, close to 70 of them were actually first timers who were contesting. And that's the beauty of Telugu Desam Party. If you look at it as an alliance, out of the 164 people that have won, close to 88 of us are first time MLAs. 17 out of the 25 ministers are first time ministers. So I think that's what makes Telugu Desam Party very unique.
So basically, you have a new blood coming to power. So at the same time, in that context, also want to understand, you've been traveling a lot, to different countries at different occasions. I know it's a lot, especially for entrepreneurs out there, that they're spending time away from their family. So would like to know what kind of things, you generally pursue to have a downtime or, to keep stress at bay generally. People would love to know.
No, I think you should take life as it comes. There is no need to be stressed. What I've realized is when you're stressed and you take decisions, you end up making a lot of mistakes. So I've learned the art of breathing. So when I'm disappointed, when I'm upset, or when I feel a little bit of stress, I actually learn to breathe. And that really de-stresses me and makes me calm, and that enables me to take right decisions. your destination, I mean, in order to reach your destination, and it could be politics, it could be business, or any field that we chose, it's never a straight line. There are going to be amazing highs, and there are going to be the worst lows. And what I've learned from our leader is you should take your lows as you take your highs. Then life is constant, life is good. Never carry stress home. I mean, there is no need to carry stress home. I believe that
The stress of work should be left outside your door. When you go home, you should spend time with your family. No second thoughts about it. But saying that, I mean, if there are no sacrifices, you really cannot achieve what you want to achieve. You know, every day I never sleep before the date changes. I meet people till about 10:30, 11 in the night. If you want to achieve greater things in life, and if you really want to leapfrog, then you will have to make certain sacrifices. And it's not just you, it's also your family. So I chose a career, and I'm able to do this because Brahmani and Devansh support me. You know, 226 days of Padayatra. Never went back home for any festival. No Saturday, no Sunday. I think the only break I would take is when Brahmani and Devansh would come visit me, and I would start my Padayatra late by about 4 hours. That was literally the break that I would take next day. So sacrifices are done not only by you but by your family, and your family should be ready to make those sacrifices for you. So I think it's a very informed decision. In my case, it was a very informed decision. Brahmani and I spoke about it a lot.
And you know, during our toughest time, especially during Babu Garu's arrest, there was always days when Brahmani would still ask me, is this all worth it? Why do all this? Why sacrifice? Because end of it, look what's happened to the family.
But I think all of us changed our opinion when in Hyderabad there was a gratitude concert where without any political involvement 45,000 IT professionals came and stood in the solidarity of Mr. Naidu. That is something that fundamentally moved us. And that was such a strong push for the family that, and recognition for the family that,
You know, all of you have made sacrifices. What you're going through is wrong. We stand by you. You know, that personally meant a lot for us. And I remember from that day, Brahmani never asked me the question on, do you really want to still continue in politics? So I really thank all of them, and I thank quite a few members here who also stood in solidarity with the family and with Babu Garu across various cities in the US. It really meant a lot. It really reinforced that we were in the right direction, and it was a reality check for the entire family. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I think in that context, I had an incredible opportunity to meet CBN Garu last year, and what a visionary he is. And then I think I'm one of the byproduct where you see the best of America that has to offer out there. Given that context, how do you want his legacy to be remembered? That would be, one of the things we would like to know.
I mean, Babu Garu his legacy has many chapters. If you look at it, being one of the youngest ministers of his time is one chapter. Being a very bold politician in the age of 20s is a chapter. And that is how he met Anna Garu.
Starting from there, and if you look at the transformation that he also went through personally, if you look at the way he's governed between 94 to 2004 is simply amazing. And even today, I still cannot imagine that without smartphones, with the, I think 42 people teleconference system, he was able to govern the entire state of Andhra Pradesh and deliver ISB, Microsoft, and modern Cyberabad, what we today see. It's just fascinating what he's done, and so I believe that is one chapter. The last 5 years is another chapter. I have seen a completely different person. His commitment, his perseverance, his persistence, even during the darkest moments of his life, which none of us imagined would ever happen,
for no mistake of his when he was sent to Rajahmundry jail. It never moved him. He was very strong, very focused. And the most surreal experience for me was when I went to see him the first time. I still remember, I got down from the car and there was a plaque which said in 1998-99, Babu Garu modernized Rajahmundry jail. And there was another plaque next to it, which was the building where I met him, the Mulaqat would have been, which again was rebuilt by him between 2014 and 2019. So I mean, if you look at him, he's left such amazing legacy wherever he was and the kind of governance he's done. And I believe the best is yet to come. I believe best of Babu Garu is yet to come. Andhra will see a completely different man, and he will script a completely new legacy for himself. Amravati is a legacy that he's going to script. Vishakhapatnam is something that he's going to script. What he's going to do for Chittur, Kadapa, Anantapur, Kurnool, I mean, you'll be simply amazed. Because today the way he's looking at governance is 100 days. He's not saying I'm here for 5 years. He's saying this 100 days I'm supposed to do this, each minister is supposed to do this, where are you? So already our first 100-day report card came and the next 100 days we are already on the sprint to deliver. So I think the best of Babu Garu is yet to come.
Wow. So everyone in the audience is actually rooting for you on the state's success, Lokesh Garu. So given that, I also understand you had a lot of background in technology and management.
So what actually inspired you to come into politics? What is that, what does it, tick you? What is that passion,
So I remember this very well. This was in 2004 after Babu Garu last election. I went to a wedding with him. It was a 5,000 people wedding. I remember it very well. It was a hall of twice this size in Hyderabad. And he entered the hall as leader of opposition. He just lost an election and a year into it. And what amazed me is 5,000 people standing out of respect for him. And that moved me personally. In power, out of power, the good work he's done always will stand and will always live along. So that is where I felt it was very important for me also to serve people, and no other field. It could be philanthropy or it could be even the private sector would give me that kind of respect. And that is the day I decided that my true calling will be politics and I will join politics eventually.
Wow. So I think personally in that level, one of the thing I wanted to, ask you also is, given that context, the passion and the drive that you have, in terms about building the enterprise, want to understand how IT served community and the state, can act with each other in terms about skilling or upskilling and creating a bridge for a lot of, investments. Especially not only in terms about IT, because it's not only IT, so especially in terms about pharma or also healthcare sector. And then today when I interacted with your team, Mr. Garu, also one of the important thing that I took away is you had a lot on your plate. So given the context, just want to understand, what kind of, medium that you want to create for IT serve to interact.
I truly believe it's a two-way street. One of the agendas with which we are now working is how do we double the per capita income of Telugu people here in the US, all across the world. And one thing we want to work with IT service, how do we skill up all our IT professionals in the US and across the world? How can you get them ready for the next generation technology wave, the AI wave and so on and so forth. So that's an area of great interest for us as a state of Andhra Pradesh. The second bit, Andhra Pradesh is open for doing business. We are ready. We will match it with speed of doing business. I'm leading a delegation in which we have a very young IAS officer who is the CEO of Economic Development Board. As you said, all of you have interest not only in IT, it could be tourism, it could be education, it could be healthcare. And as a state, we are ready. We are ready to make this an amazing journey. And together, I believe that all of us can transform the state of Andhra Pradesh. One thing I've personally noticed, the difference between 14 and 19 and now 24 to 29 is there's renewed interest and there's greater commitment saying that let's do it now. I see that in everyone. I truly believe that last 5 years seems to be a bad chapter in all our lives. All of us feel bad and we really want to work hard and really do good for our state. And as a minister and as a delegation, we're really excited to take all of you back and actually showcase what we can do best and what are the areas that together we can develop the state of Andhra Pradesh.
A round of applause on a lot of insights that Lokesh Garu has shared. And Lokesh Garu, I also watched the drone conference that happened in in the state of AP, and then you also received Guinness World Records for that show. So just want to understand in terms about the buzzing technology right now. A lot of people understand about AI, blockchain, and quantum. How do you want to interact in terms about especially the drone and the technology in relation with AI? What kind of technologies that you want or you think the state should implement going further?
I mean, as we always say, crisis is an opportunity. When we had floods in Vijayawada, it's one event in 248 years, if I'm right, where half of the city was actually flooded. We piloted drone delivery of relief material. This was not purpose-built drones, these were agriculture drones. Jugaad India model, we had a basket hanging, we put what every house needs and we started delivering and it actually worked. And we've realized its power. I wouldn't say we've solved the problem, but I believe that we found a solution that we can now really expand and take it forward. Saying that even in governance, I believe technology will play a very important role. AI will play a very important role, and I'll explain why. This is something I already shared in one of the meetings today. As soon as I became minister, a person messaged me on WhatsApp. I mean, he's a disabled student. Andhra Pradesh government enables them to take 5 subjects, not 6. Whilst when you apply for IIT and NIT, you need to give 6 subjects marks. So they said, because of this technical reason, we are not able to get into IIT and NIT, please help us. So I had a very young IAS officer working for me in one of my, in school education department, and I told her we need to find a solution. So with her interest, she searched, she went back, found a 1992 GEO that enabled me to average the 5 subjects mark and give it for the 6 subject mark. Very simple GEO you would think, but we fundamentally changed the lives of 45 disabled children. I mean, these are children who all their lives were insulted, made fun of, and here they were just at the door of an IIT, NIT, and because of a government regulation they're unable to open it. Now let's think about this. If that officer did not find the solution, then what would have happened to their lives? That is where I believe AI can really be transformative. If the models are trained well, we can find solutions. So what you will see in this particular term of the NDA in Andhra Pradesh is effective use of AI in finding solution and solving long-term problems of our citizens.
So before we wrap up, Lokesh Garu, just for the audience, just want to understand what is your favorite pastimes, your hobbies. A lot of members requested this question for you, so that would be good.
I truly enjoy spending time with my friends. Unfortunately, now I don't get that much time. So whenever I do get the chance, we travel together. We travel across the globe. The current opposition seriously has a problem with that, and I don't know why. When I'm paying for my trip and going for a vacation with my friends, they seem to have a problem. But I love to spend time, and that's the only way I believe that I can get to hear the other side of things, another perspective of things, and learn what's happening around me and across the world. Because otherwise, politics is a bubble. and time and again I need to step out, like how I did during this trip. I go back with renewed energy and thought process. So like this, once every 3 months I like to take time off and actually spend time, go see the world, see what's happening around us, and bring those back for the state.
Wow, I think that was a great conversation, Lokesh Garu, today. So thank you so much for spending your valuable evening with us. So wanted to wrap it up. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for IT sir for having me, and Jai Hind.
Nara Lokesh is the visionary leader who is renowned as one of the biggest driving